Hello everyone and welcome to Travelistic. In this video we're going to be talking about the top 10 reasons why you shouldn't move to Chicago, Illinois. Watch this video to the end for a better understanding and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're considering a move to Chicago, chances are you've heard plenty of positive feedback. After all, the city has a largely stellar reputation among locals and tourists alike, and for a good reason. Stunning architecture, world-class restaurants, a vibrant art scene, victorious sports scenes, Chicago has it all. If you're a lover of pro sports, Chicago can't be beaten whether you choose to root for the Cubs or the White Sox, and yes, you have to choose, you'll never run out of crowded bars to watch the game at. Nothing quite beats an afternoon with friends at Wrigley Field, whether you're a baseball fan or not. But like any other city, it's not perfect and it's not for everyone. If you're contemplating a move to the Windy City, it's worth considering the negative aspects. Here are the top 10 reasons for not moving to Chicago, Illinois. Number 10. Winters are long and brutal. Chicago has many positives, and weather is not one of them. Winters here are both long and brutal, and the city reflects it. And thanks to climate change, the city could see even more extreme weather in the coming years. If the polar vortex of 2019 is any indication of things to come, you'll bear witness to all kinds of fun weather phenomena such as thermal whiplash, frostquakes, and instant frostbite. School closures, dangerous driving conditions, and temperatures so biting they chill you to the bone are all mainstays of Chicago winters. If you do choose to live in Chicago, you'll have to decide what's worse, the weather itself, or the fact that you'll hear, "I could never live here, it's way too cold," every time you tell a non-Chicagoan where you live. Number 9. The traffic is next level bad. To be fair, bad traffic is something you're bound to find in any big city, but Chicago's can be next level. In fact, Chicago regularly appears toward the top of lists ranking the worst cities where traffic is concerned. According to a 2019 ranking from Business Insider, Chicagoans spend an average of 26% more time than expected to get from place to place in the city. Let that sink in. Those are some precious hours you could spend working. Number 8. It's more expensive than you think. This one may not come as a huge surprise. After all, big cities tend to require big budgets. But while Chicago isn't like New York City or San Francisco, it's also not cheap in any way. From high rent prices and high taxes to pricey restaurants and exorbitant parking fees, prepare to shell out if you're making the move to the Windy City. The cost of living in Chicago is 23% higher than the national average. Housing costs soar 55% above the national average, with transportation costs 26% more than the national average. Number 7. You're going to eat like a pig. You're probably thinking to yourself, but isn't that a positive? And while Chicago's incredible food scene certainly makes life in the city delicious, it may also make it really hard to maintain a consistently healthy diet. Chicago does things like deep dish pizza, burgers, hot dogs, and Italian beef sandwiches exceptionally well, so holding on to that willpower can be tough, and the same can be said for the food scene's effect on your wallet. Number 6. You might live in fear. Anyone who has ever flipped on the news will tell you Chicago has seen far too many shootings. While crime in the city tends to be heaviest in specific geographic pockets of the metro area, Chicago may not always feel like the safest place in the world. Of course, bad things happen everywhere, but it stands to reason that there are more peaceful cities out there. Number 5. Midwestern nice doesn't apply. Potential Chicago residents may be envisioning that Midwestern nice you hear so often about. They'll likely picture smiling faces on the street, friendly hellos from strangers, and neighbors who are always available to help in any way. The reality is that while you'll find a lot of nice, friendly people, that quaint notion of niceness isn't always to be found among the big city bustle. Are Chicagoans nice? Sure, for the most part, but the sense of niceness isn't quite as sweet as what you'll find in a more slow-paced part of the Midwest. There's a sense of anonymity in Chicago sometimes. Chances are you can live next door to somebody without ever knowing his or her name, and you can go weeks at a time without unexpectedly bumping into a familiar face. For those who've lived in large cities, this won't be so surprising, but if you're making the move from a smaller place, it may catch you off guard, especially in light of the Midwestern nice reputation. Number 4. The job market may not be as great as you think. Does it surprise you that Wallet Hub's 2019 ranking of best U.S. cities for job seekers don't even place Chicago in the top 20? According to this data, other Midwestern cities like Fort Wayne, Indiana, Minneapolis, and Minnesota are better bets for those who are looking to secure jobs. While Chicago's workforce represents incredible diversity in terms of industries and functions, plenty of competition means it can be tricky to find a job, especially if you're fresh out of school. Number 3. Finding the right neighborhood can be tricky. The truth is, it's hard to sum up Chicago's culture because it varies drastically from one neighborhood to another. Diverse neighborhoods mean a lot of variety, but they also make the entire city feel fragmented at times. Figuring out which parts of the west side or south side are too sketchy for your comfort zone might take a bit of careful research, and you'll probably mix up Lincoln Square and Logan Square for your first year here. While many neighborhood choices may be a positive for some, it can be a tough concept for others to grasp, and if you're not wildly excited by the idea of living in a city that doesn't feel totally unified, it's something to consider. Number 2. High cost of living. While Chicago has many advantages, it comes with a price. The cost of living is so high that many young people choose to share their rooms in order to minimize the cost. You should expect to pay between $1,900 and $3,000 a month if you're living in an average home. The cost can be higher for better homes with 2 rooms. Anyone who lives in Chicago must first think about the cost of living. It's the largest portion of the budget, after all. Number 1. Chicago's financial situation is worse than you realize. News accounts have focused on the city's attempts to plug an $838 million gap in its 2020 budget. A few have mentioned that even bigger deficits loom later in the decade, but hardly anyone has explained that Chicago must come up with additional billions of dollars annually for the next 35 years. Chicago is a sinkhole city with enough assets to cover its debt. Chicago only has $10 billion of assets available to pay bills, totaling $46.5 billion. Because Chicago doesn't have enough money to pay its bills, it has a $36.4 billion financial hole. So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. We hope you enjoyed it and gained some useful information. If you did, then please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more informative videos. Don't forget to turn on the notification by pressing the bell icon so you never miss one of our future uploads. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.